am back and live. I've been on pre-recorded video the last couple of weeks, so I have not been live in the studio, and it's so good to be back here. Yay me! I had to take a breather. You know, it's funny because sometimes you have to walk the walk and practice what you preach, right? So I had to take a little bit of time just to kind of focus a little more on some of the things in my life I really want to do. Not just the astrology and this show, but also my real estate career and a lot of other things. So it's been a really good couple of weeks for me. I hope you guys had a good, for those of you in the States, holiday weekend. So I am going to give you guys all a little bit of time to just kind of tune in, settle in, and if you would, share the show. I'm going to share the show too, and hopefully we'll get some people piling into the soul space tonight. So where am I here? This is great. Gonna just share. So I hope everybody's feeling good. I'd love for you guys to call in or comment. We're gonna put the number on the screen and tell me what you did this past weekend and how the energy's been for all of you. I'd love to hear about that. So as I said, I've been slowing down a little bit, which is good. It's summertime here where I live in the States, and oftentimes we find that in the summertime we slow down a little bit, get a little more social. It's nice. So hopefully you've all shared the show, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Why is my... Oh, I see. I couldn't find my Zencuda.com page. I'm rusty, guys. I'm out of practice. So yesterday, I did something I've been wanting to do for a couple of years, and really some good stuff. Actually, you'll find it boring, but it was good for me. I cleaned one of the areas in the downstairs of my house so that I can actually make a little home studio. I usually do my home videos, and sometimes I tape the show in my healing room, which is really like a family room in my house, even though I don't have a family. But anyway, I usually do my tape recording there, and it's a beautiful room, and it's a great setting, a lot of great energy in that room. As a matter of fact, I have this really big antique table that a friend of mine gave to me that has so much energy from his grandmother, and I love to work on it. It's very inspiring for me, and I do a lot of my work there with astrology, and I do a lot of my coaching and mentorship in astrology there and readings. It's really cool. But I wanted a separate place where I could set up some audio equipment and do things from my home. So I cleaned out an area downstairs in my house, and I'm going to be broadcasting probably, I'd say, in the next couple of weeks from that area. So it's really pretty cool stuff. So tell me what's new with you guys. What have you been up to? What's new? I'm going to talk about the stars tonight. I'm also going to talk about what to expect in the week ahead. And let me tell you, we have a Lollapalooza. So we'll get right to it. So, let me see who's in the soul space right now. I can't see my comments yet. Where am I? Hold on. Here we are. Let me see if anybody's in. Got some stuff going on. So we have quite a week coming up in astrology. And I know I say that often, but this is the kind of week that comes along once in our lifetime. It is a very, very powerful, powerful energy. And we can use it for good, or we can use it to be destructive as well. What I will tell you is that this energy coming in, I'm going to go into detail about it, but this energy that's coming in is actually an energy that is going to probably change a lot of things in the world, not just in our own lives, but also politically. We've been seeing that happen in the world quite a bit these last few days with UK elections and some things going on in France. I think we're going to see that a lot in our own country here in the United States. And I'd love to hear what's going on in some of your countries across the globe. So tune in, call in. Number's 516-945-9099. So the week starts out pretty easy. You know, today is the 8th of July. And we have some really pretty harmonious energy going on right now. Mercury in Leo is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini. So what does that mean in your English language, not astrologese? It means that we can get things done. And I had a pretty good productive day today. I saw a couple of clients, and I did a couple of classes, put together some information for some of the people that I train. Some pretty good things happened today. And now I'm here with all of you beauties. So it's a good week for brainstorming and feedback as far as the first couple of days of the week. Then the energy is going to change because we have a very strong energy building. So today, the 8th, Mercury in Leo, sextile Jupiter in Gemini. harmonious energy. It's an energy that we can get things done, but it's also an energy where we don't work alone. You're going to find yourself teaming with people or pairing up with people, and you're going to find that you need their feedback and you need their collaboration in order to bring whatever you want to do to the next level. So that's today. It's also a very good day for bonding. If you have someone that you need to discuss something important with, today is a good day to do that. July 9th, we have a beautiful asteroid called Pallas Athena going into Scorpio. Pallas Athena is a warrior goddess. I actually align with her quite a bit and use her energy often in my own chart because I have her in a very strategic place in my birth chart. And Pallas Athena in Scorpio is an energy that helps us kind of see things very clear. The murk that we've been in, the cloudiness that we often feel because Neptune is so active in the chart right now, that's going to dissipate just for about a day or two, while Pallas Athena in Scorpio means business. This is an energy where in the past year we've had a lot of things that were kind of revealed, but then not revealed right away. And we're like, well, how is this really playing out? I'm not really sure. And then something else happens and we're like, what's true? What's not true? What is really going on here? Well, when Pallas Athena is in Scorpio, it's a really great time to get to the truth. It's a really great time for us to see things more clearly. And then on July 10th, it starts. We got the energy building. That starts on Wednesday. And the energy that starts to build this Wednesday is a very powerful energy. We're going to have Mars and Uranus come together in Taurus in the sky at an exact conjunction. They're going to be on top of each other. I don't know a better way to say it, on the 15th. But we have the energy building, and it's building very, very, very powerfully. There's a very potent energy because there's certain things that are in play here, and I'm going to go into them in detail because this is a really important time of change in our lives. It's also a really important time for change in the world globally, and I think that when you look at I can't seem to get my comments up. When you look at what's really going on in the world, and then you look at the astrology, it's uncanny how it just unfolds completely in the way it's supposed to, as far as what the cosmos show us and teach us. And that's one of the reasons why I delve so deeply into astrology and use it as a guide in my life, because I've found that the deeper I learn, the deeper I look at the planets and where they are and the aspects they create. It's such a dynamic thing. It's always moving. And when you do study that, and it takes a lot, that's why there are astrologers, because not everyone's going to be able to devote their life to something so detailed. But when you do really understand it, or have an astrologer that you go to regularly who helps you to interpret, it's a wonderful way to not only guide your life, but also be able to use energy that may take you by surprise or be unsettling in a very powerful way for your own self-development and growth. And that's why I practice evolutionary astrology, because it interprets the areas of your chart, planets, and aspects and things in that regard. And it changes all the time. Just as we evolve and develop, a lot of the time we're doing that in relation and in our subconscious conversations with the planets. So it's really pretty cool stuff. So I urge everybody to, tune in every week and see, where you can be at with this, because I can't see my comments. So I don't know why. I just can't see anything that's a comment. So can't respond and chat with you guys anymore. I don't know why that is. Let me see if I can fix it. Sorry, guys. I don't want to leave dead airspace on the show. But I can't see any comments and I can't see any people in. So hi, whoever's out there. So that's on the 10th. We have the sun. On the 9th, rather. Tomorrow, the Tuesday, we have Pallas Athena in Scorpio. So that's a really good time when we solve puzzles. So if there's been something that's been kind of, really working in your life where you haven't been understanding it, or you can't seem to connect the dots, tomorrow's a really good day to start unpacking it. Now, on the 10th, we have the sun in Cancer, and that is going to trine Saturn. And like I said, that is when the energy really starts to build. This is a good day for organization. It's a good day for advice, to ask for help, to get things done. We're still in that Monday, Tuesday energy of getting things done a little bit on Wednesday, but then the energy does start to shift because we start to go towards that Mars-Uranus conjunction. The Mars-Uranus conjunction is... Oh, here we go. Got my comments. the Mars-Uranus conjunction is moving together. If you have any planets in the last degrees of Taurus, from I'd say about 20 degrees Taurus up to 20, I'm going to say 22, 23 degrees Taurus up until the final points of Taurus, 29 degrees, you're going to be really affected by this in one way or the other. So now the planet Uranus and Mars are coming together. Mars is moving towards Uranus, and Mars is our action. Uranus is sudden change. It's also liberation. It's freedom. It's awakening. It's with Mars coming against that planet Uranus and sneaking up on it. That is an acceleration of the energy. Normally, when we see Mars and Uranus come together in history, if we go back as astrologers can and look at a calendar that we call an ephemeris, which has the position of the planets, since we've been studying them, since we've known they've been in the sky, you can look back at that and look at dates of when Mars and Uranus came together. And almost every time Mars and Uranus comes together, something happens that can be very altering to a society. It can be violent. It can be a life-changing moment. The assassination of McKinley was on a Mars-Uranus transit. Other things that have happened have been on Mars-Uranus transits that were extremely changing of a society or of a life or whatever. That's the macrocosm. And so right now we have very, very volatile energy, and this energy is accelerated and really made more potent. So for the next week or so, I'm going to say from July 10th on, all right, it exacts on the 15th, 16th, depending on where you live. But this is an energy that's also going to set the tone for the year, for the rest of the year. It is not lost on me that this particular transit of Mars conjuncting Uranus is happening right around the time in this country, in the United States, when the Republican convention is meeting. And I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, Zencuda, where I analyze both Trump's chart and also Joe Biden's chart in two separate videos. And in Donald Trump's chart, the Uranus-Mars conjunction is happening right on his midheaven, or MC. It's also conjuncting personal planets of his. And that, for him, is a real signature of the way the world sees him and his status in the world going to be changing in a very big way. Now, that could be positive. It could be negative. But based on what we're seeing in the world and the amount of volatility and dynamic change, I don't think that's a signature that means it's going to stay the same. I've said all along, and a lot of people, don't agree with me, but it's almost like just an intuitive feeling I have. I don't think either Biden or Trump are going to be our next president. I just don't. I think there's going to be quite a shakeup, and it's already happening now. Things are changing that we never thought would be changing. So those critical days right around that Republican convention, around that 15th to 17th, building up now to that time, is really going to be very interesting to watch and see what happens. In your own personal lives, I would absolutely give the advice to kind of lay low a little bit. I wouldn't put myself in the line of fire. If you know anyone who is a volatile person, or someone who's just, extremely unhappy, or has an anger issue, or is someone that flies off the handle a lot, because this is an energy where people can lose their stuff. So we're building up to this energy come July 10th, because the sun in Cancer starts to trine Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is around the 19th, 20th degree of Pisces. We've talked quite a lot about Saturn's energy in Pisces. You can go back on other shows if you want and listen to them. On the 11th, we've got Venus in Cancer now, and that's trining Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is also at the final degrees of the sign. So what's happening is the planets are lining up. Remember, the planets are always, coming into a different degree and pattern in their signs. The planets are moving constantly. The Earth is moving constantly. So right now we have a dynamic that's lining up for 2025 to be an unbelievably changeable year. And what I mean by that is that we have many, many planets right now in the final degrees of a sign. When planets are in the final degrees of a sign, there's 30 degrees in each sign in the zodiac. There's 12 signs. It's a, geometric circle. So there's 30 degrees to each sign. Pisces has 30 degrees. Libra has 30 degrees. So when you say, oh, my moon is at 22 degrees of Scorpio, it's towards the end of that sign being 30 degrees. Going after 30 degrees, you start 0 in another sign. So right now, lined up in the zodiac, we've got Neptune in Pisces in the final degree of Pisces. It's going to go retrograde. It's actually stopped almost right now in the final degree of Pisces. Will not go into Aries till next year. All right. 0 degrees of Aries is a complete restart for Pisces. Pisces is 165 year orbit, 165 years it takes Neptune in Pisces to go around the Earth. I think I said for Pisces to go around. I meant Neptune. 165 years for Neptune in Pisces to go around the Earth. Next year, it will complete its orbit and start over again at 0 degrees of Aries. So Neptune in Pisces in the final degrees is 165 culmination of energy, 165 years. So that's a big deal. Then we've got Pluto going back to the final degrees of Capricorn, 29 degrees. It popped into Aquarius the beginning of the year. The day that Pluto popped into Aquarius, that's when AI went viral. The chat GPT went viral that day. So when we look at the solar system and we look at the astrology, we know it's playing out what we see in the world. So we've got Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees, around there. It's, going back and forth, retrograding. We've got Neptune in the final degrees of Pisces. Now we've got Uranus approaching the final degrees of Taurus, and Mars is there meeting it up. Uranus is going to change signs in 2025. Neptune is going to change signs in 2025. Pluto's going to go back to Aquarius at the end of this year. And then I believe we have Saturn also changing signs in 2025. It's in the 20th degree of Pisces now, headed for the end of Pisces, popping into Aries next year. So when we have that many planets lining up now to go into different signs in 2025, that's a huge energy shift for each one of those things and what they represent. I know how we often feel in the collective, because I read the energy and watch it, when just the moon changes a sign, and it does that every 2 days. So can you imagine what it's going to be like when 5 planets all go into a different energetic signature in the next 12 months, beginning in 2025 to 2026? So what does all this mean for us? On a personal level, it means that this is a tremendous time of pivoting, of change, of stepping into new energy and allowing that to give us freedom and liberation from the old energy. On a macrocosm in the world, this speaks of a lot of change. You're going to see not only the structures change like they did in Capricorn Pluto era, which is now coming to a final end, where things just kind of decayed and disintegrated and, kind of like basically died, everything from school systems to political parties to, whatever you can think of, right? But now what's going to happen is we're going to be propelled into a future. So now is the time for us to clean out all the debris, really think about from a soul level, what do we want to do? What's really meaningful to us? And go from there, because next year is going to be a very accelerated and rapid change in our life. And if we don't have a good plan and we don't have a good roadmap and we haven't really checked in with ourselves to see where we really want to go, it's going to be wasted energy, and it may take us someplace in a very forceful, a very harsh way. It's like getting caught up in the wave. When you're ready for it and you know when to bop up and down and when to swim and when not to swim, it's harmony, it's flowing. But when it catches you by surprise and you lose your breath, you have a less of a chance to survive. So the energy builds this week, and then definitely by the 12th, the energy's really changed, because on July 11th, Venus is now in Leo. We've got Mercury in Leo. This is all the summer romance is heating up. When Venus goes into Leo and Mercury, who's now already in Leo, when that happens, when planets go from Cancer to Leo, it's a very big energetic shift, and we oftentimes feel it because Cancer is ruled by the moon and Leo is ruled by the sun. So when a planet has been in the sign of Cancer ruled by the moon, it's very different. It's dark and mysterious and watery and emotional. And then it pops into Leo ruled by the sun, and it's all of a sudden like the lights are on. We want to be seen. We're attractive. We want to be attracted to things. We have a magnetic appeal. We are like, the king of the jungle. We've got passion. So when Venus, the planet of all the things we value and love, pops into Leo, that's on July 11th, it changes the energy. Things heat up. Those summer romances heat up. Anything that's a hot topic is going to heat up. We're going to want to entertain and be entertained. We're going to want to go out and have socialization. We're going to be into the fire, right? We go from the cool, dark moon into the fire of Leo. So it's a very different energy. Now, the day after Venus goes into that beautiful fire energy, because now it's in Leo, it's in the first degree of Leo, it's opposing Pluto, who is still at the first degree, 0 degree almost, of Aquarius before it pops into the Capricorn retrograde. What does that mean? Well, when Venus is opposite Pluto, sometimes it can cause our desires to really rise from the surface. It can also be a situation where what we love and what we want is really not what we're finding ourselves obtaining, because what's good for us is in opposition to what we really want and what we really should have, right? Our soul's desire may be different from our heart's desire if we're stuck in ego. So that can be a difficult energy. But beginning on the 12th, the energy really starts to build. We've got Venus in Leo. It is opposite Pluto. We've got Uranus in Taurus. We've got Mars in Taurus going towards Uranus. We have all this fixed energy. So Taurus is fixed earth. Leo is fixed fire. This is like we're digging our heels in. We want what we want. We're not going anywhere. And that begins the energy of the Mars-Uranus conjunction. And it exacts July 15th. But by the time I think July 12th is Friday, July 15th is next Monday. It'll be interesting to hear all your stories. The energy builds and builds and builds. It's like people keep putting logs on the fire and logs on the fire and logs on the fire. But because it's fixed fire and fixed earth, it's like a grinding. It's like, you're going to really feel the tension in the air. This is an energy of trying to find the right word. It's very powerful. It's transformation. It's what happens when you keep putting logs on the fire. You get a bonfire, right? And you burn something down. Or you can really cook your food and heat your house, and it can be really, really constructive, right? So it's either destruction, construction. And that's the power of transformation. And that's where we have the choice. Whenever we're faced with something that's a really big choice or a tragedy, we have the ability either to find the constructive link in it or to let it burn down the house, right? And you're going to see this play out in the collective. So I want to just say hi to Ann Rothney and Sarah and Cheryl and Carolyn. Hey, Carolyn, I'm glad you got back from vacay. Colleen is out here. Stephanie, love my Steffers. Aaron's here. Aaron just finished his job interview. Everyone send him good juju, good juju, good juju. So this is very powerful change. And there's another added level to this and why it's so powerful, this Mars-Uranus. Now, Mars and Uranus come together every 2 years, but because now this is happening at the end of a sign where we have them making aspects to other planets at the end of signs, this is like really big change. This is like momentous rebirth, conflict turned into power. It can also be, on the positive note, very magical. Like, this is a very powerful, powerful thing. If you think about, a bonfire, or using the analogy of fire and earth, if you think about it, sometimes fire is used to burn something that's toxic or something that we no longer want to have, right? You would set fire to something to annihilate it if it's not good, right? So in adversity, we always grow stronger. It's up to us what we choose: construction, destruction, rebirth, death. But the other layer to this is Uranus and Mars are coming together in Taurus exactly on top of a fixed star, more fixed energy, called Algol. And it may seem obscure to you, but Algol is not an obscure fixed star at all. It's very well known among astrologers and in most of even mythological circles. In Greek mythology, Algol was correlated to Medusa. And if you know the myth of Medusa, that's the goddess with all the snakes for hair. Medusa was beheaded, and then, grew this snakes out of her head. And if you think about it, it is a story of transformation, because the asteroid that I mentioned in the beginning of the show, Pallas Athena, in Scorpio right now, very dear to my heart, Athena. If you know the mythology, when Medusa was beheaded by Perseus, and her head was given to Pallas Athena, and Pallas Athena uses it as a sword, uses it to defend herself. So think of the mythology. Here we have someone's head being used, a very violent, very transformative thing, although she grew snakes and was able to become a warrior with that, right? Medusa. Pallas Athena used that as a defense for herself. So isn't that what we do with adversity sometimes, right? We learn from a mistake, we learn from a painful occurrence, and then we also learn how to self-protect and preserve, but we also know how to defend. I oftentimes think of the energy of Medusa and Pallas Athena being extremely linked to Joan of Arc. And I've talked about Joan of Arc quite a bit in my podcasts and in my blogs. And I just identify with beautiful Joan so much. I do believe that her and my energy is extremely entwined, and that I, aligned with her quite a bit, have been her. And Joan of Arc, everyone thinks of her as, a warrior princess charging into battle. But what you really have to think about with Joan is, why did she do that? She did that because she had such a belief that God was speaking to her, and she had such a fierce love of her people. That's Pallas Athena in Scorpio. And that is how this energy can be at the highest octave. We can learn from a shocking, sudden thing, what I always call a healing crisis, and we can use it to transform ourselves to become more love and more compassion and endure, right? Or we can use it to chop off somebody's head and go in the wrong direction. It's entirely up to us. So this energy also, Algol is a fixed star that has a very strange and fast orbit, to the point where it actually eclipses itself on a regular basis. And that is why in ancient astrology, it was known as a fixed star that was very sinister and evil and caused pain and suffering. Death, tragedy, intoxication are the words if you look it up. But it also symbolizes protection, mysticism, magic. It's about turning something that can be strongly painful into valor and into a valiant thing. It's really an amazing energy. But in history, when we look at the fixed star Algol and wherever it comes into the chart, oftentimes it does signify a loss of power of some kind. And when we go back into the history of this transit of Mars-Uranus and then add Algol in, many times when we've had a transit or a sky like this, people have come into loss of power, and leaderships have been changed. Coups have happened. Governments get thrown. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. And a lot of times, leaders will lose power in an energy like this, and others gain power. So there's, negative and positive in everything. That rebirth, that transformation, the conflict turned to power. Conflict turned to power. Rising again despite tragedy. We all have great power and find new purpose when we have to reinvent ourselves. Anyone who's gone through a painful breakup or a divorce or lost someone dear to them knows there's a reinvention process that happens. And that is so unbelievably beautiful. Painful as hell, but so beautiful. Because at the end of all of this rise of power and really, psychic, intuitive energy that comes forward in these times for us, it brings us to a place where we really are in our own authority and have our own agency. And so that's what this is all about. And this is the energy that we're really, really coming into now in 2024, 2025, and into 2026. The Uranus and Mars conjunction happens at exactly 26 degrees of Taurus. So if you have any planets in 26 degrees of a sign, it will impact you. If you have planets in Taurus, it will impact you. If you have planets in Scorpio, it's an opposition, So the energy really builds. This is tension. You're going to feel it. When this finally exacts, it's not like it happens where boom, the world ends. This is an energy that stays with us a while. It's a gradual thing. It's like a seeding moment. Uranus and Mars is a seeding moment of activity. It's a release of tension, but we don't know what to do with it. We just know something's going to happen. We don't know what. That's what it feels like. When Mars Uranus come together, we can feel it. It's like, when you feel a rumble, something's going to happen, but you're not really sure what it is. That's this energy. And because it's Mars and Uranus, Mars is very physical. So this can also play out in the world with earthquakes, volcanoes, things like that. But oftentimes when we see earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that, oftentimes it creates a new geography. Sometimes it is a good thing, right? Venus is going to be trining. This is what happens, the build up to the energy. This is how it works. Venus starts to trine Saturn in Pisces, and then the sun is going to trine Neptune in Pisces because the sun's going to be at 19 Cancer. So all this energy just keeps building and building and building. All these things, all these conversations, these crosstalk in the zodiac is like a flow of energy. It's like an open circuit. When we have those trines between the sun and Saturn and Venus and Neptune, which starts to build on the 10th into that 15th, 16th moment when Uranus and Mars come together in Algol, with Algol, there's a harmonious flow of energy between those few planets that are trining, but it's an open harmonic. It's like, for those of you who do music, it's like a beautiful melody that's playing, but it has to come to a crescendo and somehow come apart. Because Mars and Uranus is an energy where something happens that's real. It's not fantasy. It's not flowing into imagination. It's like, boom, we're back in reality. And it happens in order for us to have more of our own agency and more of our own reality and more of an authority about where we're really supposed to go in our life. So it's pretty cool stuff. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not going to say all of it's going to be pleasant. It's going to be shocks. It could be seismic activity. This is opposing the sun of Joe Biden, which is health and physical vitality, which means that when that Mars Uranus, just like it's on Donald Trump's midheaven, redoing, reinventing, a sudden shift of status for him somehow, it's opposing Joe Biden's sun, which is our vitality, our life force. So it's going to, weaken that. Something's going to happen with that. So basically, in a nutshell, what I can tell you is something's going to happen. Don't know what it is, but we've got some big major changes coming our way. In summary, I'm just going to say that this is a demand on the soul. This is the universe demanding our soul to step into its intention. Do not have fear. To be fearful in an energy like this is not good because it will amplify negativity. In an energy like this, you have to trust. You have to free flow. You have to be in a place where everyone's sending me up hearts. Thank you. You have to be, I'm going to send them back. You have to be in a place where you're free flowing into an energy that is keeping you grounded so that I'm just trying to see the comments, so that what is working for you and where you're headed. What is your trajectory? That's what the universe is demanding of our soul. The days of sitting on the couch eating Cheetos are gone, guys. You can do that if you want, but I'm not going to support you in the consequences that happen. But I'm telling you, the universe wants us to get out and start living our soul and living our soul's intention. It wants us to seek individuality. And when I say the universe, I am talking about spirit, God, goddess. Whatever energy you believe created you is telling you and demanding that your soul seeks out its own individuality and reinvents yourself. This is what this is about, in an authentic way. We're not going to get away with just sliding into home anymore. The universe is going to start demanding some really amazing things from us. And it's going to be amazing to see them. Now, change is always tough. And like I said, some people are going to lose their you-know-what because there's a lot of people that don't like it when you tell them to get up off the couch, right? I'm just using this as an analogy. It's like in the old sitcoms when they'd have the husband and wife, and the wife threw out the easy chair, and the guy comes home and he's like, "What'd you do with my chair?" Right? Like Archie Bunker, for those who used to watch All in the Family as a kid, he had his chair. You couldn't move his chair. There's a lot of people who become extremely agitated when you move the chair. Well, the chairs are getting moved. Like, think musical chairs. find your one that fits. This is a sudden breakthrough. It's a release of energy, release. Also, what I'm going to tell you is with a sky like this and this build up from the 10th to the 15th, you're also going to feel passion. We've got, Venus in Leo. We've got the sun going into Leo soon. This is passionate energy. It's an energy that people, their desires can rise very quickly. And, you could kind of lose your mind a little bit and maybe do something you're going to later regret. Especially when it comes to sexual passion, enticement, really deep desire, things like that. This also actually, believe it or not, is also a signature in Taurus of money, of anything that is stable and for our survival. Taurus in the chart is where we show what we feel we need for our survival, our own stability, where in the chart we place value on the things we think we can't live without, right? So that's pretty interesting stuff. So let me see my little comments here. Oh, it's so great to see all of you too. Super hot in Florida. I got to tell you, it's super hot in New York, guys. Somebody said women in this country must unite against Trump. I'm not endorsing any political candidate one way or the other. You're all entitled to your opinions, and this is a free space. So I'm going to try to keep it apolitical. So if anybody has any questions about the energy, stick them in chat because I'm reading chat now. So I want to just clarify something I was saying before about how I align with Joan of Arc. I always think Joan of Arc had to have Aries and Scorpio in her chart. But when I say I align, and I believe at one time I probably was Joan, it's my belief, and this might be a little hairy for some of you, but it's my belief that everything is happening all at once. Like time is not linear. I believe my future is already happening. Your future is already happening somewhere. George Washington is, rowing across the Delaware somewhere. It's all in there. Cosmos, universe, whatever you want to say. So right now somebody is Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc exists, billions of years. So I believe that, we all are reincarnated and incarnated into all kinds of different life forms and different things. And that's why sometimes we align with energy. I remember when I first started to study astrology, I had a summer where it was the weirdest thing because he really wasn't an astrologer. He was more an astronomer. But I had a couple of months where Galileo kept coming to me. It was so strange. He came to me first in a deep meditation. I was in a group meditation with somebody, and big group of us. And all of a sudden, Galileo popped in. And they were all like, oh, I saw blue. I saw this. Oh, I saw my angel. I'm like, I saw Galileo. It's weird. But anyway. I've learned not to fight with these things, just trust them. So I've had quite a few guides. I've also had clients who tell me Robin Williams is a guide for them, several. So, that just proves my point. Somebody's Robin Williams right now, right? So anyways, so nobody has any questions they want to ask little old me tonight? I know what you guys want. Do you want me to go to some cards? Alrighty, if you want me to, I will. You twisted my arm. All right. If you have any questions about your Celeste Lipsky, agreed. Just hope all my plan changes happen smoothly over the course of the year and positively. So, I've been getting so many downloads and so many messages, and even some of my mentors, because I always have mentors, and, spiritual frequency family. I've been hearing so much about manifestation lately, like manifesting and how to manifest and how to do things. And I have to say that comment really made me think of that. So your plan is already worked out at some place in the universe. And I always think like that because it's already happened. We just have to put ourselves into that energy and tap into it. And when you live like that, if you can, it's hard to do. We're creatures of ego, right? We always have our sad times come in. But when we do something like that and we can really place ourselves in the energy of it already happening, it brings it to us. We attract the energy in because we're a magnet, and everything we do is a magnet. So let me pull some cards for you, Celeste, and we'll see. And then I'll pull one for Steph and then one for Liz. Okay. So while I'm pulling some cards, I want you guys to know my new website is going to be up this week, and I have some freebies that are going to be on there for you guys. For instance, there's a very short 5-minute video you can all download for free, which shows you how to pull up your own astrology charts through astro.com. And things like that. And we'll be doing some giveaways and all kinds of stuff for those of you who join my mailing list on the new site. So look forward to that come the end of the week. I have this beautiful soul who's been working with me from British Columbia. Her name is Brittany, and she has been so imaginative and so beautiful and so wonderful to work with. I just love, love, love her. Okay, so Celeste, let's speak to the universe together right now if you want to join your energy with mine. And I am going to... First card I pulled was the Hangman upside down. I've got the Judgment card upside down. That's okay. It just means it hasn't happened yet. And then I've got the Fool card right side up. So Celeste, whatever you're trying to manifest is a journey for you. And your journey, I feel like, is a little bit indecisive. So whatever you are trying to manifest, whatever you really want to bring into your personal journey, make sure that you have it really set. Like you're letting the universe know, like there's no ambivalence, like not any hope. Hope is an inactive force. You want to know it's coming. This is what is going to happen to me, with me, for me. The Judgment card in reverse is a rebirth card. Actually, a lot of people, when they see the Judgment card and it's got the baby coming out of the coffin and the Archangel Gabriel blowing his trumpet, this is a message that you have a rebirth coming. It hasn't happened yet, but it is there. It is coming. Intuitively, I'm going to say to you, I don't know what you're planning. I don't really know you, but I feel like something that you are trying to bring to fruition comes through in the beginning of 2025, not January, February, like later, like late winter into early spring. I'm feeling like that's when things come together for you. And I definitely feel it's a journey. Whenever I see the Fool card, especially at the end of a spread where it is here, for me, that really means that you are going on a journey, of course, but that you have to have trust and belief. This guy's walking off a cliff, this little fool here, right? He's not a fool. The Fool is also zero energy. It's indicative of that 0 degree of Aries, which is all new beginnings, which reinforces what the Judgment card is saying. So I'm going to tell you that your plans are going to happen for you, probably the beginning of 2025 into that, not the first season of 2025, going towards the second season. But you have a lot to do with that, because what the cards are saying to me is make sure she believes, she has faith in what she's doing, no doubt, right? And give yourself some mantras. I mean, when I'm trying to manifest something, like I play really happy music. I try to make sure everything I do is in a positive frame of working for me. I try not to do anything, like I don't watch negativity. I keep so positive when I'm trying to manifest. Next card is going to be for Stephanie, and then I'm going to pull one for Liz and Sarah if I have time. So Stephanie, I'm going to pull some cards for you. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Going to split this deck because that's what they're telling me to do. Okay. Stephanie, I have the Four of Swords in reverse. This is a card of quiet repose. Like if you're coming off a time, I know you're just coming off a vacation. We spoke earlier today, you're a friend of mine. If you're coming off a vacation, this is saying you need some time to kind of come down, be in your own energy, and take a little bit of time for yourself. The next card I got was the High Priestess, which reinforces that feeling of taking some time and going back into meditation, really introspection. I'm hearing someone say to me that nothing has to be done now. This is a time of planning for you and of just kind of sitting back and really giving things deep thought. There's no reason that you have to do anything right now. The High Priestess is a card that tells me to follow your intuition. So the quiet time comes through for that. And then the third card in the spread for the end card is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is could be a Libra energy. It's an air sign, possibly. It's a female either on this side or passed over, which is an energy of someone who is very organized, very businesslike. When I think of the Queen of Swords, I do kind of feel like your mom's energy. I know she preceded you in the business that you're in now and was very much a businesswoman. And it sounds to me like she would have been someone who never was impulsive, like was very methodical in her decisions. So this thread tells me, this spread tells me, whatever is on your mind, don't be impulsive, because the right decisions are absolutely there. You just have to follow your intuition and give yourself time to hear it. So definitely take some quiet time, and don't be afraid to spend time in your own energy. Next card that I'm going to pull is going to be for Sarah and then Liz. Okay, Sarah. I'm a terrible shuffler. I probably would not have ever been able to get a job in Las Vegas. Not ever, not ever. Okay. Have the, actually, this is one of the best cards in the deck. 10 of Cups. It's in reverse, which means the energy hasn't happened yet. But this is like a really sweet, beautiful family coupling energy of, soulmates coming together, or just a really beautiful family time. But I feel like it's in the future. So that doesn't mean you don't have a beautiful family now. It just means that there's some kind of an activity or an event that's going to happen that brings you all together. And it's very abundant for you, because I also have the 10 of Pentacles. These are two 10s here. So if the number 10 or 20 is really prominent for you, Sarah, that's a sign from heaven. Very unusual to get two 10s together. You got the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles. This is like all good things. 10s and in the Arcana are very much abundance, good luck, benevolence. And then I have this beautiful card of the future. This is the 3 of Wands. That is action. It's looking out in the world. It's your future. So please know that you have very much abundant, harmonious family, warmth, loyalty, and also financial abundance coming to you in the future. That's really what this spread is about. It's beautiful. Just look at the colors in this spread. All the golden light, everything. Just beautiful. And now I'm going to pick a card for Liz. Elizabeth in sunny Florida. And I promise that every month I will devote at least a half to 3/4 of one of the shows to just cards, because I know you guys like that. Don't buy that vacation home yet. That's funny. Yeah, actually, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, like, sometimes it's, my dad used to say, sit on your hands. Like, because we used to get all fidgety and everything. Like, we'd be at church and he'd be like, sit on your hands. So just sit on your, sometimes when we don't know what to do, and this was advice somebody gave me a long time ago, and I've carried it with me for the last 20 years. When we don't know what to do, sometimes it's best to do nothing. And the universe just kind of lets it play out, and it's really cool. So Liz, I have an energy also, future energy of you contemplating something. You're trying to make a decision about something, a choice. I don't know exactly what that's about, but it's definitely something, I'm going to say, to do with money, but also for some reason nurturing is coming through for me. So I don't know if you're trying to make a choice about an investment that is something more spiritual or health-wise for you, but it feels like that. And then I've got this beautiful card of celebration. So I don't know, maybe you're thinking about making a decision about going to some kind of a celebration, like which way to go on it or what to do. But it definitely has something to do with choice. From a spiritual perspective, I've got the Queen of Pentacles here, which is very practical energy. It's energy about money and spending money. But I feel like this card, we always say it's like the cup runneth over. It's like the universe offering you, and just like if you look at it this way, the universe is offering you something. This is like God's hand giving you something. And I feel like it hasn't happened yet, or you haven't made the decision yet. The choice is now forming in front of you. It's definitely got a money component to it, but this is spiritual. So it's something to do with, am I doing the right thing spiritually? Is this good for my growth? And there's money involved, but it also, this is like celebration. It's 3, which is beautiful energy, like a Trinity type energy, but also you have the cups here and the cups here. So this is that abundance. The energy line is continuing through something that maybe you have to make an investment in, or money comes to you and you're like, well, I want to do this with this money and it's a spiritual quest for me. Could be something like that. So just, watch for that in the next few months, because there's going to be some kind of a choice given to you. Maybe you come into money and you want to use it to do something spiritual. But it's definitely some kind of an intermingling of spiritual quest or spiritual project and money and the celebration of it. Because this third card, the Three of Cups, is a celebration. It's a trinity. It's, it can sometimes be like a marriage or a partnership, something like that. All right. So those are the cards for tonight. And I'm going to sign off, but I just want you guys to watch my new website. I'm going to post a video about that on social and also Zencuda.com towards the end of the week. So you can watch for your freebies and where to sign up for newsletters. And also you can find me on Zencuda Official on Instagram, and you can find me on Zencuda Soul Space on Facebook. I love these Monday nights with you guys. This is such beautiful energy. Let's continue to build our community. You can listen to me on Spotify and all podcast networks. If you're driving in the car, if you're home, you can even ask Alexa to play the latest Georgia Rose Soul Space episode, and she will. I am all over. And at noon on Friday, I am on Public Access Channel 151 on cable, on Optimum. Somebody called me the other day and they said, "Hey, I'm watching you on my TV." I said, "Oh, you're having lunch with me." So have lunch with Georgia Rose on Friday. And please, please share the show if you think anyone finds my work meaningful or interesting. I want to build the community of like-minded people and like-hearted people. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week right here on the Soul Space at 7 o'clock on Monday night.